Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Do you really know? This is episode 21. Let me play the intro so you get to see who is going to be on our show today. Show number 21.
Kinga.
And now our wonderful host, Mr. Omar, waiting there to get on. All right, welcome. We're going to have our special guest, Kinga. Let's bring in all the way from Texas. 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome to the program. How are you?
Hi. Good morning. I'm doing great. Thanks, Omar.
Welcome.
Excited to be here.
Number 21. If you have seen our last episode, it was the April Fool's show. It was a whole mess. So we did a little, Andy was in it and Matt Allen. And so it was a weird mess who he took over. And so we took a break and back to now seriousness, kind of.
Oh, we're going to be very serious today?
Yeah, we're trying to be. I'll never say.
Okay.
Gonna get to know, do we really know Kinga? Awesome. Hopefully you're having a good morning so far. And you guys can watch us from 3 platforms, YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook as well. All right. Are you ready to get started? Do we really know Kinga? Let's get started. Question 1. Okay. What U.S. states have you lived in? Or you can say visited basically as well.
Okay. Well, I was born in Vermont and I moved to Georgia for college. And then I worked in South Carolina for quite a while. And now I live in Texas.
Oh, wow. Okay. Vermont, way up there, right?
Yes, way up there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's excellent. I've been to, so you lived in 4 states, but have you traveled around much?
Oh, I've traveled to many states. Yes. Wow. My sister lives in Hawaii. She's lived there for probably about over 25 years. So I definitely get to go to Hawaii a bit, as well as one of my best friends that I still stay in touch with from like middle school. But yeah, I've traveled all over. I love to travel, so I've traveled all over the world really. But yeah, I don't love car trips though. Good morning, Leslie. I don't love sitting in a car a whole lot. So I like to kind of be able to fly somewhere and then explore around.
Yeah, I mean, car rides are fun because you get to watch and see, but I can see if you're on the highway, there's nothing there and you're just driving and it's like boring.
Yeah.
Or there's an area in Arizona from California where it's all desert, which is cool, where they film Star Wars. And you get to see it and it's kind of, but it's not much there. You look all across, it's all sand and stuff. So, hey, Leslie joined us. Good morning. She was in the first seat here. So when we opened the stage, we brought her in the first row. So you got the first class ticket there. Leslie. So it's free for you because you're awesome. Okay, let's go on to the next question here.
All right.
Okay, the most exciting thing I did as a high school student. You remember that?
Yeah. I would say, I guess the things that I remember that were probably the most fun for me was we had a pep rally in high school, and they brought and it was during the day, and they brought everybody out onto the football field, and they had a dance contest, and they just had a little boombox kind of playing, and everybody's dancing, and you couldn't even hear the music because it was just one little radio. I don't know why they didn't have it playing over the speakers. And I was the last one dancing. So I won the
Wow.
dance contest against the entire school. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And where was that? What state were you living in that
In
time?
Vermont.
Vermont. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know the high school can be interesting, but for me, I enjoy college more because I got to interact with a lot of people internationally from all over. The high
Yeah.
schools are usually just regular people locally, and not
Hmm.
much international, maybe 5 or 6 people. I went to a big high school, but I enjoyed college more. Arizona State
Yeah.
interacted. They had events, they had festivals, stuff like that, and so it was fun, amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
for
uh,
me,
yeah.
college was kind of a blur of just working really hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I have a question about the college here in a second. We'll talk
Okay,
about
let's
it
get
more.
there.
Okay, here it is. That's the next question. Your college degree and what it wasn't your first choice. I did look at your profile. You did some kind
Yeah,
of engineering, correct?
I
And
did.
I
Yes.
did also engineering. I did civil, and so that was interesting. And I know
Yeah.
Kufi also, our friend, he did civil engineering, and so we had
Yeah.
the interaction too. So I always love to stick with our engineering friends. And when
Yeah.
I was in college, we had a whole group, industrial engineers, chemical engineer, all of us, we stuck together and we had our own club.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I went to school for industrial engineering
oh
at
wow.
Georgia Tech. Yeah, and it was one of those things where I went to an engineering school because, of course, when we were in high school, we had no idea what any education really was all about
Yeah.
beyond high school. And so I was good at math. And my dad was an engineer. So I just thought that that was what I was supposed
Same.
to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And so
Yeah.
I ended up getting an engineering degree, and industrial to me felt the most close to a management and humanities kind of side of things.
That's
So
awesome. I remember being in senior class in physics, and the teacher was like, "Everybody stand up, tell us what you want to do, what do you want to study." And I kind of had no idea. And then, being the European background, they always kind of tell you, you want to do this and that. My dad was an engineer. My uncles were a couple of family. And so, why don't you go into this field? You're good in math, you're getting A's, and then English, you're getting C's or B's. And so I went into engineering, and the teacher was like, "What do you want to be?" I was like, this. And so I enjoyed it. So that's awesome. And so your background through your dad is in
yeah.
that field, and so yeah, it's kind of a fun thing. And
Yeah.
remember, we went to take your kids to work day. Did you guys have that back then? And then
Yeah,
we would
my
only go.
yeah, yeah. My dad was he worked at IBM,
Ah,
and they would have a lot of that kind of family days, and we loved it because I remember two things significant about that was one, they gave us as much free ice cream as we wanted. They had these little ice cream sandwich
oh yeah,
stands, and I
awesome.
just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And the other thing that stood out to me was my dad he was working on some new projects. He actually I think proposed a memory part for the first personal computer.
Oh wow,
And
that's
and
awesome.
so he was working on some pretty big projects. And I remember going into his office, and there was something on his wall that was confidential. And my dad starts covering it up and was like, "You can't see this, it's confidential." He took their code of conduct and their ethics so
Yeah.
seriously. And
Oh,
I'm like 7. You know? I remember being like
yeah.
I'm a spy, dad.
Oh wow, exactly. That's
Yeah.
like everybody was there. I know what you mean. That's funny.
Yeah, and I
That's
just
amazing.
remember thinking like, "Wow, this is really important stuff." You know?
Oh yeah,
I wanna
absolutely.
be like that.
That's awesome. My dad worked for the government. He still does, and so I had an internship and stuff like that. But now I moved to the private kind of thing. So very interesting. Yes, we are STEM exactly. Do you remember there was actually when I went to college a club called STEM Club, and we were all part of it.
Ah,
Science, technology, engineering, and math, I believe. And
yeah.
they had fun activities, field trips, and stuff like that. They were all part of the engineering field. And so I went to a community college. Then I went to the university after. So we had this hangout kind of thing. So did you also do that kind of thing as well?
I didn't. I lived in a rural area and we kind of had this you had to catch the bus on the way home.
Oh,
And that was it. And for me, I felt like it was very much of the kind of growing up as a kid, if you didn't get involved early, it was difficult to kind of interject yourself and feel comfortable starting to get involved later in life. It wasn't until I became more comfortable as a human being, which is not happening when you're, you know, 10, 12.
yeah. Exactly. So Leslie loves ice cream. Can we so we can send her some ice cream maybe in the mail. What Leslie, since you're here, I think you like the ice cream cones. What type of ice cream do you like? Uh, I'm glad she's here. She's awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
next
she's awesome.
question. Okay, do you remember your first ever best friend? BFF.
Oh, oh, good. Okay.
We all have that one. I remember
Oh,
my friend. I'm still
yeah.
friends with him for 25 years or so, and he's in
Yeah.
California. And so I
Yeah.
met with him maybe 5 years ago. After all that time, just rekindle and be friends again. So yeah,
Absolutely. I'm trying to think because there's kind of like, the people that you just adored, like, when you were
yeah.
little. And then really when you're like, oh, I actually have this real like connection and we're bonding ourselves because you had your little playmates kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And I would say probably when my parents divorced when I was fairly young, and I had to switch schools. So that was probably the first time that I felt I was kind of on my own. I really had to kind of reestablish myself, and there was a girl in the class that was also in the same situation. And
Oh
so
well.
we gravitated towards each other and we were kind of similar in our learning styles, and we ended up living about 10 houses away from each other. And this is, you have to, because my mom was in a different school district, we walked in the
Oh
snow uphill both ways. Um, and so we walked to school back and forth together. And I would say that was the first time where we were kind of exploring, what kids do, which was, misbehaving in certain ways
yeah.
after school or whatever. So yeah, I would say she was probably my first best friend.
That's awesome. Yeah. We usually relate to somebody like my parents were immigrants as well, and then I had a person who was also an immigrant. He was Indian, and so we kind of connected. And I remember
Yeah.
incident there was some guy who was trying to always be a bully with us, and it's kind of funny. And the guy would put sand in people's shirts. He was like an annoying guy, and so my friend was like, "Let's just get over it, and let's have him do that." And
Yeah.
so he got in trouble with the guy eventually, but it was like we were playing outside. I'll never forget that. But
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person who always friends with everybody, and so I was like, it was just you laugh at it now, but back then it was kind of a weird thing. So
Yeah.
I went to
Weird things that pop into
yeah,
your memory.
exactly.
The
I
one
went
that I have is that we would, on
yeah,
our way home from school, it was much faster if we cut through this graveyard that literally had
yeah,
just kind of a walkthrough.
uh-huh,
And we were like, we weren't scared. It was during the day and it was kind of a short little walk. And this
yeah,
boy would follow us, and he was kind of a bully, and he would
yeah.
follow us. And I remember him tipping over gravestones, and we were like, that's really bad. Like that boy's really bad. And we were just like, don't
Wow,
follow us. You're freaking us out. And that was kind of what she and I bonded over, was kind of just being terrified of this kid.
that's funny. That's awesome. Yeah, we have all these wonderful memories, some good, some bad, but you grow and then you learn, so it's awesome.
Yep.
All right, let's get to the next question. Here we go. Oh, we're talking about ice cream, frozen yogurt or ice cream, and which one is your
Mhm.
favorite? And then Leslie likes chocolate right there.
Okay. Between those two, probably ice cream. But you know what? I'm a big fan of sherbet.
yeah, not a
Do
big
you,
fan.
you ever eat sherbet?
Uh,
Like
yeah,
rainbow
I've
sherbet?
had it. Yeah,
I
I
love
remember.
rainbow sherbet.
It's awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of on a kick on rainbow
I
sherbet.
don't know if you guys had this. They had these swirl places back. They had the place called TCBY or something like
Oh
that back in
yeah.
the
Yeah,
90s.
totally.
They probably closed down, but then they're pretty. That's a good place. I remember we used to walk and eat those from my elementary school. like in
Yeah,
Arkansas. So
in,
yeah.
um, in Vermont, they have soft serve ice cream, that they only do during the summer, and they
Oh,
call them creamy. It's
oh,
spelled Creemee,
oh,
and it's in those machines that you kinda swirl around, those
yeah.
swirlies. But it's called creamy, and they only have it during certain months. And
Oh,
but
wow.
any person that's from Vermont knows what a creamy is. There's
Oh,
creamy season.
that's awesome. I think I met one other person who's right now living, and she's from LinkedIn. Lydia, I believe she's in Vermont. She
Ah,
does kudos and them. You might know her. I think
yeah.
she's there or New Hampshire. I want to do a map of like everybody in every country or every
Oh,
state as well. I did one in the beginning, but I got bored of that and then started doing other things. But I did
yeah.
a map of like where everybody was when I pinged everybody.
Oh, how
That was
fun.
so here's Dr. New. I only saw her on LinkedIn. We
Hi.
never met in online or anything, but
Amazing.
she's good friends of you guys, I'm sure.
Love
Everyone,
her.
it's a beautiful Sunday.
I love
And
you.
hello to Leslie as well. And then Josh Lee is somewhere here. I don't see his comment, but he's probably commenting from his phone, which we cannot see.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
comment from your phone, somehow it doesn't show up for some reason. I don't know why, but he's awesome too, Josh. Have you probably seen his audio events? He's
Yeah. There's only a couple comments that I can see. So hi to
ah.
everybody.
Okay, what are you so passionate about?
I am extremely passionate about some of the pivots that I would like to see us take as we enter into kind of a new era. And I think that we have some really exciting changes that in the future. So I am looking forward to the type of collaboration and that entrepreneurial kind of journey that so many people are embracing right now, because I think that there's so much opportunity for like creativity and for us to come together as kind of a collective journey of making an impact that we haven't done before. um, I think it's really inspiring that we all feel more empowered around being able to accomplish things. So for me, it's that I was able to operationalize really amazing things within organizations, and I'm now able to kind of take everything that I've learned over years, and I've spent the past year and a half observing, not within a corporate confine, and say, how can I take those lessons learned that I had and apply it? And I think I've come up with some things that could really help. And I'm just really, really passionate about
That's
trying to
awesome.
put that together and being able to help the greater good.
That's
So
awesome. We
yeah,
will talk about that later and then your company and all that in a few
yeah,
minutes. We have just a few more slides, but that's awesome. Yeah, you do a
yeah,
lot of interesting things and some
super
people you
passionate.
connect with, and we always have to refer to, as they call him, uncle or grandfather, Mr. Don, because he's the guy who really connected everybody over
Yeah,
a year ago. And so you were one of the nice, kind people who I met, and Leslie and other people, who are willing to be on here. But it's really up to him for introducing us and starting the platform. It's been over a year since I actually was on the show first time, so it's amazing. So,
yeah.
all right, let's go on. Okay, teach us a word in Hungarian.
Oh, a word in Hungarian. Okay. Um, I'll
And
tell
I
you.
wonder if you can type it in there so we can show the audience in the chat box.
Okay.
I think there's a private
Well,
chat, and then I can post it in here.
all right. Hold on. um, I want to make sure I spell it correctly, first of all.
Yeah.
It's I am I this I have my here we go. Okay, I did.
I
That's
think
good.
there's a private chat. kind of
There we
thing.
go. So I'll share with you that this is my memories of my dad, I guess, is that um, growing up, you know, my parents obviously both became single parents when they got divorced. And my dad was very diligent about in the morning, the way his routine and the way he would wake us up and the way that he would, my sister and I, the way he would wake us up, the way we would go to bed every night, you know? And so he would every morning, good morning, every night, good night, and kind of stuff, you know? So I'm going to say to you, good night. Because I can hear like when I always can kind of hear that like or something like that. So I think about words that just pop into my head and I can like hear it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's asking me to.
If you go to the private chat, there's a private chat here.
Oh, okay.
Put it there. I'll paste it in there.
Okay, thanks.
And then so there you go. I'll just bring it on here and then we can talk about it. So
you always forgot.
And then let's see if I can put it in here. Okay, now we should be able to see it. And we go to comments, or let me put it in from the YouTube.
So Ace the cat would be night. Yo is good.
Oh, okay.
So Yo Gelt would be morning.
Here we go.
Ace the cat.
Okay. Okay. So say it again. So the yo part is what? Is
good.
Good.
Yo.
Okay.
Yo.
And then not. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Nice. And there's if you look it up, there's actually kind of the the in French they call like the accent aigu and accent grave and those I don't know how they're referred
pronounced or put in.
But they're those over the letters, but of course my keyboard isn't set up right.
I was gonna say in Bosnian you have this is good night, lako noć. So there's an accent on the C, right? And then you say lako noć, which is interesting. Yeah, and then this one's like basically means good night with the yo part. That's awesome. So when I was researching and you're Hungarian, I was thinking some of the words may be similar, but they're probably not. You know, Balkans and Bulgaria is different, but Hungary is kind of a little bit different.
Hungarian is one of the most original languages.
And like the earliest, one of the earliest languages, Hungarian. You're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely research that because I love learning stuff like that. So there could be some words that are similar. I know it's Slavic based, you know. So awesome. Okay, let's go to the next question here. Okay, if in my free time. I love to, or non-related work. So, what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I think that this question is interesting. For me, I love so much. I don't separate work and my free time, mostly because to me, like I talk about things that I'm passionate about. And that is what I talk about at the dinner table versus what I'm trying to accomplish. So I've really started to align what I am trying to help others with. So kind of going back to my passion and purpose, I think that the best place to be is when you're aligning the two. So I don't separate the two. So for example, I'm here now spending what I consider my personal time with you and still talking about the things that I'm passionate about. So I don't have this huge separation in life, I guess is kind of what I'm saying. But if we're talking about just extracurricular activities
or a hobby,
hobbies,
or something like that. I wanted to change it up a bit. That's why.
I'm super into like random crafts.
Oh.
Okay. And it's like I'm terrible at all of them, but I love to just dabble because it keeps my hands and my mind kind of busy. It keeps my creative flow going. I like to learn new things. I like kind of humbling myself that I'm like terrible at something. So yeah, I got into at one point like mosaics, and then like I bought all the stuff, and then that lasted like 2 months because then I wanted to do like melting glass, and then I got into pottery, and then so I'm just like always playing.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's
yeah, I like
awesome.
to play.
That's awesome. I wanted to have you finish your comment and bring in Leslie here. She says, okay, so Leslie, you're actually telling us your age now, which is good or bad? Now, when I was 10, Hungarian Revolution sent a lot of young people to the United States. My mom's best friend was Hungarian. Oh, that's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
Leslie, and I'll share with you all on
Yeah.
LinkedIn sometime, but there's a Time Life magazine, a special edition, and my dad is in the centerfold. And I believe that my dad and his sister were some of the very first two Hungarian children to come to the United States legally.
Oh,
Their
wow.
mother was a lawyer, and brought them here because their father was a prisoner of war, and they found out that he was alive and he had been declared dead, and his mother had already remarried.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Now, is your mom also Hungarian as well?
Yeah.
Or that's
Yep.
awesome. That's
She
awesome.
came also to find and meet her father. She knew he was alive and had never met him, as well. So both of my parents had never met their fathers when they
Oh,
came to the
wow.
United States as teenagers to come
Oh,
find them.
wow. Definitely interesting. And so this is also an opening so we can learn the culture about Hungary and Hungarian and all that. Because we always go back to the Hungarian empire, Hungarian Austrian Empire, I guess they call it. That's
Mhm.
when part of Yugoslavia and all that, and the World War One started, I believe, in that region, right? Which is in Sarajevo. It was part of it, right? And I like history. I like studying about history and stuff like that, all these details and stuff. They made a show about Franklin, the Benjamin Franklin. I was like, this is something interesting on Apple. I was like, something. So I like history like that. So because we really need to know the back, like George Washington, all these people, how they live. And when I see a show like that, even Napoleon, when they did that, this is fascinating. I love that stuff.
Um, I
It's
was
history.
just looking up this morning, just as a side note, there's
Yeah.
a movie called Torn the Flag
Uh huh.
that stood out to me. It was made in 2007. But my aunt, my dad's sister, had recommended it to me. And one time when I was visiting, my grandmother was still alive in Vermont. Um, we watched it, and my grandfather was also still alive, my step grandfather. He wouldn't watch it, and it's actually a very touching and beautiful movie because it's about them winning the water polo Olympics during that time. And my grandmother, it was really amazing because at one point when they're like singing the national anthem, my grandmother got up and like started singing. And
Oh,
so it was like a really intense moment for me to watch that movie with her and have her stand up and start singing. So if you're ever interested in a
yeah.
really intense movie, Torn the Flag, I just looked it up this morning. And it's like $5.99 to rent it on.
So it's. Let me put the name in here. Is it? It's.
Yeah, Torn the Flag.
Spell it there. Is that right?
Mhm.
That is
Torn the
okay.
Flag,
I'll
yep.
check it out. Yeah, there's some hidden. See,
Mhm.
that would be interesting to definitely look into that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my, Leslie, today. Oh my God, we're gonna give you an award. You're awesome. Tell me.
Honestly, I'll
How
send you a
you-
picture of
yeah.
it. I have it online. I'll
Oh,
send you.
you do have the video.
It's a special edition. It
Uh,
was,
Can you bring it now on camera, or do you have it, or is it you
yeah,
have to show it?
I do. You want me to grab
Okay,
it?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can go ahead and bring in the movie. Let's talk about these wonderful people. Minerva. All right, quality time. All right. Oh, there it is. Awesome. Is that a book or a
It's a magazine.
magazine? It's a magazine. Okay. Ah, okay. That's awesome. And so, but the movie's based off of that,
Oh, no,
or
no, this is the one my dad's in.
oh, that's the one your dad's in.
Yeah,
Okay.
Leslie was asking about, my dad is in this centerfold. It's pretty gruesome.
Okay.
But she was asking, oh my God, I'm sorting through hundreds of Time Life mags.
Ah,
This
yeah.
is I mean, it was 50 cents.
What year was that? That was in the 50s or?
This was printed. It says, when was this
Yeah,
printed?
Leslie's asking for the date.
Yeah. I mean, I think,
I think it's on the front, but yeah, Time Magazine changed.
yeah, it's by the editors. I mean, I found it online and it
It's
was
like
in
I
the
can't
either
see it.
late, I want to say early 60s when this actually got published.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'll find it, Leslie, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, and then also the movie too. It's Torn the Flag. Is that the right name
Yeah.
for it?
Torn the flag.
Awesome,
Torn the
awesome.
flag. Yeah.
All right,
And
great. We have
I,
just a couple more questions here, and we'll be done. That's
yeah.
awesome. Okay, so I just want to have fun, and I want to give you one question which you should know. Let's see.
Uh-oh. Where'd you go? Am I frozen or are you frozen? Somebody, I don't know if I'm frozen.
Let's split up. Okay,
Oh,
it froze for a second there.
am I there?
Okay, for 100 points, what's the capital of Bulgaria?
Sophia! Sophia! I looked it up.
What is it?
Sophia, right?
Oh, yeah, you got it. Good job. Let me go ahead and give you the applause. Yay! She got 100 points. I knew I had to get you to play the game once. And the final question. Okay.
I would invent.
Okay, if I would invent an item to help mankind, what would it be? And then from there, elaborate about your CEO company.
Okay.
We have a few more minutes, and yeah, this is a question for everybody.
If I would invent an item, what I have found is that I think that it's very soothing when we kind of have a rocking motion.
Yeah.
I remember when I was watching Breaking Bad like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and there was a scene where he's laying on the floor, the lawyer is laying on the floor, and he has this machine where he has his legs or something, and it kind of just swayed him. And I started looking that up, and I was like, where can I get one of those? Because sometimes I'm laying there and I'm like, I wish there was something that was just kind of rocking me, because I find that like very soothing. And I feel like that's what I want, is like something that's like sometimes just kind of soothing us. Because I think that like if people were soothed more often, just naturally, we might be a little calmer.
Oh yeah, and I'm trying to think why were rocking chairs invented? The older people use those. I've sat in one before. My grandma had one, but I'm like, maybe that's the purpose of a rocking chair? To soothe people out. And you're right.
Think about that. Like when you're just kind of grooving.
Exactly, and it's therapy called, I don't know how you pronounce that word. Trigger rocking. I guess that's the word. I'll look it up. But
when you hold a baby, it's like
you rock the baby. And I had to do a shout out for my 11-month-old who's 11 months actually yesterday. And so he has a little rocking thing there. I'll send you a picture later. But I see why they have a little what do you call it, where he sleeps in, and it rocks back and forth. And so that's the reason why.
I think adults need to be rocked.
Exactly, everybody. Maybe that's why Elvis Presley made that song, rock and roll. What was his song? He had the song. Forget what is the actual name. Rock something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now tell us about your company and why you came up with it, and what is it all about?
Yeah, so my company is Execute Your Intentions. The name of my business is extremely intentional. When I came up with it, I was just sitting there going, okay, like I always cared about working with visionaries because people come up with these great ideas. And I was working in software for nonprofits. And I was like, let's go make impact. Let's go do things that are great, right? I want people that understand how to solve some kind of problem. And I want to help them make sure that they can get that problem solved. And I have really good analytical skills from this kind of engineering background where I can take a problem and reverse engineer how to make it to fix it, how to, kind of break it down into manageable chunks. And I also care very much about the people that are organizing around helping make that a reality. And so that's how I got into project management was, hey, we got to work together to make this happen. And what I saw was so much dysfunction in how people decided to work together. And I was like, it doesn't have to be so hard. We could all just treat each other kinder. We could do things. And so when I discovered Agile and it became kind of a little bit more formal language that I could grasp onto, I was like, oh, thank goodness. Like I finally have something that other people are supporting. And so it's not just me saying, I think that these are the ways that we should do things. I could kind of grab onto that and leverage that. And so I got to be one of the first people first person I knew of that was implementing it about 20 years ago at a company and lead a lot of transformations. And to me, it was always about focusing on what we're trying to do. So, and then making it happen, making it an actual reality with the people that they have and putting trust into them. So it was always just about getting stuff done, keeping an eye on the prize and the people. And that was it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love your passion. I love that. And we all need to have that. And real quick before we end, you were nicely on this magazine here. It's amazing that put
Thanks
you in
for
there.
highlighting that. Appreciate that.
I wanted to share that and show everybody that. And that's
Aw.
awesome that you were on it. I read some of it yesterday. I read through a little. I was like, "Where are you?" I went to the first page, second page, third. I could not find you, and then you were like in the end.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I'm on like page 82 or something. But yeah,
she's not in here. She's not in here. Let me keep going.
yeah, yeah. They
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
mhm.
great. So I'm glad you were able to have time to be on this program. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. And this was episode 21. We'll take some time and your last minute words here. We usually go 30 minutes. We went over, but thank you so much. Any last minute words?
Thank you so much. I have such a good time every time I talk with you. I was, gosh, I think about the first time when we jumped on on a Zoom, and I was just like, I love everything that you stand for. I appreciate you so much.
You as well. You as well. I think it goes back to the European background, stuff like that. We all are passionate, hard workers. Our parents put that in us, and we want to put that in and do whatever to help mankind, either with the game show, even with this, spreading out. Do you really know these people? And it's fun, but also we have to acknowledge Mr. Don Cohen because he's the man who actually introduced and helped us. Wonderful guy, and appreciate you for your kindness to be on this program, episode 21. Looking forward to our next episodes, and you guys have enjoyed the time. I'll be with you shortly. Let me turn off the recording. Bye bye.